Audio test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Samuel? Good deal. Good deal. Allison, is it okay over there? Good. Hoagie 48, audio is good. You know, I scheduled this for 7 p.m. New York City time, but I figured why not? Why not go ahead and get in a little bit early, because I know we've all got a lot to talk about. And free corn dogs, crystal clear, says free corn dogs. Yes, I got to move a little bit closer to my mic, though. There we go. Got my beverage. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start out here. So for everybody just tuning in, this live show was prompted by No 7 Pencil. Number 7 Pencil sounds good from here. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. This video is prompted by a looking and sounding great. Thank you. Gracias, gracias, gracias. Hoagie 48. I've had the tab open since you scheduled it. LOL. Just eating dinner when I heard your audio come in. Oh, go ahead and, yeah, don't let me interrupt your dinner, though, because that's important, man. Yeah, I had my corn dogs. So interesting series of events, and you can find it linked within this video's description. But on 9/12 of the year 2011, I posted a video, and it was about cellar-boxing, CELLAR, and the title was, "What does cellar-boxed mean?" Stock market terminology. So, you know, obviously my intent with that video was to post a video, being that I was very deeply, highly addicted to penny stocks, over-the-counter bulletin board stocks at that point in time. But, you know, just to put, oh yeah, rum and Coke, you got it, Sharp. Rum and Coke, can't beat it. So got that, and yeah, but I posted that video in 2011, and apparently there's a lot of claims online, which is good, that I'm apparently the penny stock Nostradamus, because I was able to predict the future. Now, you know, I don't want to go as far as to say that I've predicted anything. You know, again, my intent with that video was to provide an entertaining video pertaining to penny stocks back in 2011, and that video did not receive any love then. I mean, it was a laggard. You know, it received a minimal amount of views, and I still felt like, well, you know, at least I invested my time into creating that video. I shared some content that, you know, didn't seem to be really prevalent online at that point in time. So I'm like, you know, why not go ahead and share this? You know, maybe, you know, the way I look at it, every video that I post has the potential to provide some sort of value. So, you know, with that being said, for that reason, I felt confident that even though that video did not receive a lot of love immediately, and actually it was from 2011 until 2021 before it actually lit up. I mean, that video did not surpass 500 views, at least looking at my analytics. I don't think it passed 500 views until today. Or maybe it started yesterday. I'd have to check and see when this started, but I noticed it today because I was checking my analytics for YouTube this morning, and I noticed a flood of views. And, you know, obviously those views the bulk of those views track back to that Cellar-Boxed. You know, what does Cellar-Boxed mean? And it's really interesting because now there's been alleged ties between that and a stock that's traded today. And again, I don't, you know, it's not never has been my thing to talk about specific ticker symbols, but, you know, that's a pretty talked about stock. And so a lot of people feel that, I don't know, I mean, people did their due diligence, and somehow that connection to Cellar-Boxed was somehow at least loosely connected to, they feel that it's connected to a current stock. Now, let me switch. I've got something over here consuming some bandwidth. Let me switch this off, okay? That's why I do the studio check. That's why I get on a little bit early, and I don't want any sort of degraded video or audio quality. So let me switch this other thing off. Okay, got it switched off. Yeah, I did the whole TV announcer thing. I got a pair of gym shorts on, and I put the blazer up top just for the heck of it. But yeah, it's been interesting, and I've been back and forth with. Actually, let me get my phone too. I forgot that. Been back and forth with a lot of people in chat. It's been a very, very fascinating day on YouTube. It really has been because of all of this, all of these unforeseen events. And I read, the good thing is, since so I posted the previous live show today, and that was just an acknowledgement, hey, my videos received a lot of views, what's going on? And people tip me in or loop me in on, hey, there's a big thread on Reddit, check it out. So, at that point in time, I had not read what was on Reddit. And I've spent, aside from the time I was spending eating corn dogs and taking a shower, I did read a lot of what's on Reddit. So now I have a better personal understanding of how this alleged connection has been put together. And it's really fascinating. And again, I don't consider myself to be a guru in any way whatsoever. Again, highly addicted to penny stocks back in the day, still highly addicted to penny stocks. And Mieko Kaneo says, comfortable and professional, what a combo. Very, very, very appreciated, man. Gotta just relax, enjoy life. That's what it's all about. Left the tie off. There's a lot of people now, I like to wear a tie, but there's a lot of people nowadays, especially within the medical community, that they do not wear ties because they feel that they may, typically you don't dry clean your tie after every time you wear it, unless you get really sloppy drunk and spill some drinks or something on it, or get food on it. Most of the time people don't dry clean their ties. Or if they get really sweaty and it gets sweaty around the neck, makes the tie sweaty. So for that reason, since people don't typically clean their ties, you see a lot of people nowadays that don't wear a tie because, they inevitably attract germs. But that's why I don't have it on. I was just too lazy to put a tie on tonight. So, yeah, so it's an interesting, there's a lot of interesting theories out there. Now, I'm going to go back before I get into what I read on Reddit. Tons of posts on Reddit. If you search Reddit for a variety of different things, you can do the Reddit for Cellar-Boxed. You can do the Reddit for, there's a few other posts out there that I found as well. But it's more of I'm not sure, and y'all chime in and tell me what you think. I'm not sure if cellar-boxing is applicable for big board stocks. Big board stocks being New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, American Stock Exchange, etc. I'm not confident that cellar-boxing is something that's performed with those big board stocks, at least not while they're on the big board. Now, if they become delisted and then they become part of the over-the-counter bulletin board, I would think, yes, I would think that at that point, cellar-boxing could become a realistic possibility. But for something that's on the big board, I don't really get it. And there was somebody that posted a really interesting post, and let me pull those notes up here. See what I've got here. Let's see. Pull this up. I took some notes as I was reading Reddit earlier. Just some fascinating things that I found. And this was on the Super Stonk. Let's see. And I quote this. They said, this was on the Super Stonk article. If you go to Reddit and, look at Super Stonk, you can probably find this. But I quote, they said a MM, meaning a market maker, can theoretically legally sit at the 0001 level and sell non-existent shares all day long because at no bid and 0001 on the ask, there's obviously a huge disparity between buy orders and sell orders. I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, when I think of when I think of cellar boxing, I mean, that I read on Reddit, I mean, that's at least, back in 2011, that was the understanding I had of what cellar boxing was. I mean, you get 0001 on the ask, and inevitably there's probably no bid when it's 0001 on the ask. Very rarely do you see a 0001 on the ask and a 0001 on the bid. So let's see. Got some comments here. Sissy Fuss, they're saying that cellar boxing is the end goal, not what's happening currently. Aha. So that puts it in a different context. And to do that, and again, I'm not an expert. This is just for entertainment purposes only. But if it did become something that was cellar boxed, I would assume that it would probably have to be on the over-the-counter boards, and it would probably have to be as low as the pink sheet tier at that point, because there's multiple tiers to the OTC markets. Balls 31. Yeah, from my understanding, it's the end goal to cellar box so they don't have to pay tax on their gains ever. Ah. And Free Corn Dog says, this is exactly why we came here. Thanks for reading up on GME. And again, I don't talk about specific stocks. The only reason I even, mentioning this is because people discovering my video from 2011, again, the video that I posted in 2011 that was entitled, What Does Cellar Box Mean? Stock Market Terminology. And I've linked that within this video's description. But, people found that, and that's where on a lot of the, not just Reddit, but a lot of the other places I found, a lot of people have referred to me as Nostradamus for the, being able to predict the future. And I wouldn't say, if I did predict the future, I would say that it was, obviously it was unintentional. I didn't knowingly post that video 9/12 of 2011 and say, okay, this is going to predict, this is going to the T, be what, fictitious ticker symbol XYZ does in 2021. No, that was humanly impossible. Now, if that did happen, then I've got some sort of power that I need to, to better utilize to make myself a multi-billionaire. And that's something that I need to figure out. But that video was just hey, I'm just a guy that dabbles with penny stocks. Here's what I found. This is cellar boxed. And, Sissy Fuss, I'm not deleting your links, but if you post anything, this is what I found. If you post like an HTTP or an HTTPS or a .com or anything like that, it's probably not going to appear within the chat. I'm not deleting them. I don't censor. I do not censor. Yeah, it doesn't, it's just the chat. I don't think, by the nature of these live shows, I don't think it allows the links. But yeah, I'm not deleting it. I don't censor. So if you want to try typing it without the .com and the HTTP or the HTTPS, it might be able to pop up. Yeah, no problem, man. I didn't want anybody to think I'm deleting links, because I don't. But, yes. So, this is really, really interesting. And ultimately, I really appreciate the exposure, because, I'm not where I need to be with this channel. This channel needs to be way, 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 way past 100,000 subscribers at this point, and it's not. So, I've really got to get this cranked up. And there you go. So, yeah, Sissy Fuss, he posted a link, and that's at Reddit. I think he's saying go to reddit.com and then append this to the end. And I think that'll take you there. So that's the link that Sissy Fuss just posted in the live chat. The only thing I hate about drinking rum out of a glass instead of with a straw is that rum leaks, that sugar leaks down the side, and then we put on your, I've got a coaster, but if you rest your arm while you're live showing, it gets it on your desk, and you got to wipe your desk off with a wet cloth. I can't stand things that are sticky, man. Sissy Fuss says, not sure if it's even related, but a while ago we saw an order book dry up, and we found at the bottom like 250,000 orders. Crazy low bid. You know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, and I know with the, you know, with the level 2, what I like to do at the end of a trading day, and again, my comments are centered around over-the-counter bulletin board stocks, but what I like to do at the end of a trading day is go and look at the actual trades, you know, the blocks, you know, how many shares and the price, and just kind of look at, you know, how a particular penny stock traded throughout a trading day. I find a lot of educational value out of that. And let's see. Hoagie48 says, oh, the dollar orders, that is weird. When you're looking at something that is way beyond a dollar price per share and you're seeing those tiny little, that's weird. Coin the Haven. So it seems like was shorted with the ultimate goal of cellar-boxing it, but the stars aligned to a point where the short hedge funds are trapped in their position until the inevitable squeeze. So, yeah, this is this is gonna be interesting. And again, I didn't even, because I'm not into the big board stocks, I didn't even follow this. And now, since y'all inadvertently brought all this to my attention because of the traffic, I watch my YouTube analytics, and this is a fascinating story that's about to unfold. Number 7 pencil. What happens if a shorter shorts a stock and then that stock goes to zero? Then the shorter never has to close their short and return the borrowed share. So again, I don't short sell. The reason I don't short is that the potential for loss is pretty high. You know, if you're buying in a traditional fashion, you know, if you're purchasing, and again, all this is for entertainment purposes only, it should not be considered a recommendation to buy or sell a security. But if I'm buying the traditional way, say I buy a stock at 10 cents and it goes up, you know, I spend $100 and I get the stock at 10 cents. And then it goes up to 20 cents. Well, now that $100 before commissions and all of that's basically $200. But if that stock went down to zero, I bought it at 10 cents, I spent $100. If it went down to zero, then I'd lose every penny I invested plus my commission. But if you're shorting, if that stock goes up, there's not a zero. So when you think about shorting, think about it as you're borrowing the house's money. So if you're shorting a stock, in that same situation, if you bought a stock at 10 cents per share, you spent $100. Well, then that stock, this is all hypothetical, that 10-cent stock goes up to 20 cents. Now you owe $100 because that stock is, before commissions and all that, because that stock is now double the price when you got in. So you spent $100 to get in, but then if you want to exit, you're going to have to pay double because you're shorting. And imagine if that went up to, say, $1 a share. You bought it at 10 cents and went up to $1 a share. That's 10 times 100, which is 1,000. So that's the reason I never short. You know, I don't, because the potential for loss is infinite. I mean, a stock could go as high as the market will allow a stock to go. You know, hypothetically, a 10-cent stock could become a $200, $500 stock. And someone that bought in at 10 cents, should they wish to exit, they're going to be in a world of hurt. So, you know, that's the so the shorters, the shorties in stocks, they want stocks to go down. But if those stocks go up, they're potentially in a world of hurt. And should they exit soon or should they wait? Well, the pain could become worse. That price per share could continue to rise, which would mean that if they choose to exit later, they may be exiting at a higher cost. So, I mean, it's a scary thing, man. And then Sissy Fuss says, for anyone new to Super Stonk, there's an archive for all the due diligences. Feel free to check them out. And he's posted a link here. Yeah, check that out. And guys, by the way, I don't mind, it's a pleasure to have y'all on this live stream. So if you want to share your links, obviously public information, don't share anything private, but anything that you want to share that's public information, feel free to share it on here. Cause this is, I don't care. And then Cabe says, if you manage to short a stock to zero, it gets delisted. You don't have to buy back shares and pay taxes. That's what Cabe is saying. Cal C says, what are your thoughts on dividend investing? Again, this is not financial advice. I'm just sharing this for entertainment purposes only. My thoughts are I really like REITs, Real Estate Investment Trust. They're across the board, they're pretty much beaten down right now. And on paper, they seem to have gotten beaten down when the virus hit. So, I think, and again, entertainment purposes only, I mean, that's something I'm attracted to. I'm a penny stock guy. But when it comes to dividend stocks, I'm too aggressive for a mutual fund. I'm too aggressive for a lot of those lesser paying dividends. I like the ones that pay a significant amount, and at least today, REITs, REI, Real Estate Investment Trust, I found a lot of them that seem to be pretty hefty. And the beverage of choice tonight was not the beverage of choice, it was the beverage of, just because I can't crack open my Gosling's Family Reserve until I hit 100 million video views on my channel, and I'm not to 100 million video views yet. I didn't crack open the Ron Zacapa because I had my other premium rums from the Caribbean on my treadmill, and the treadmill turned on, and I broke a few of those bottles inadvertently. So my premium rum stash is pretty low. So I'm drinking some good stuff. It's cruising. It's made in St. Croix. It's a respectable dark rum. Nothing wrong with it, but it's cheap. It's cheap. It's good. Golden Sheriff. Is there an upper limit for how much a stock can technically be worth? Like, is there a number that the computers cannot handle? I don't know. I mean, there's stocks that are, thousands of dollars per share. That's a great question. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Slade Stroh. If it goes to zero, they never have to cover. So everything after their borrow fee is 100% profit. And since it was borrowed, they don't have to pay taxes. Interesting. George says, greetings from Greece, my friend. Nice job with the Cellar-Boxed video. Thank you so much. And thanks for tuning into the live show. RRVV, 2IRIX guy. Have you followed the GameStop saga until now? Not at all. I mean, I was aware of GameStop, and again, I'm a penny stock trader, but I was aware of it many months ago when there was a big thing about Robinhood and this, that, and the other, and the price per share just rocketing. But I didn't really care because I wasn't invested in it, and I didn't care to become invested in it. I mean, my speculation is centered around OTC markets, over-the-counter bulletin board, primarily pink sheets. So it's not. It was. I didn't follow it until today. And I mean, honestly, full disclosure, I got up, I had my breakfast, and I was, doing the morning, SSS, shower, and shave. I was doing that, and I was, sitting there using the bathroom. I popped up my phone, and wow, analytics are blowing up. And then I tracked it back, and then I posted the video response to my 2011, my September the 12th, 2011 video about Cellar-Boxing. I posted that just to kind of capture some buzz. And then I did the live show, and then this is my second live show because I really wanted to learn more about it. And Days says, UK checking in. Welcome, man. UK, United Kingdom. Nice. And then Slade says, have you ever had Don Papa rum? It's from Phil. I've never had that, but I would definitely love to try that sometime. Philippines is also a place I'd like to go. I've never been to the Philippines. Dave says, you should have some skin in the game. It's just not worth it for me. I like the over-the-counter markets, and it's just personal preference. I used to do the big boards again, mowing grass, making money, lawn mowing money, this, that, and the other. But that was before the internet brokers existed. That's when you had the brick and mortar. So it was a very delayed trading style back in those days. Now, especially with the over-the-counter bulletin board, I mean, the fluctuations are just, it's insane. How many hundreds and how many thousands of %. an individual ticker in the over-the-counter bulletin board can fluctuate during a trading day. It's incredible. Gravox says they are using the delisted stocks as collateral and are potentially manipulating the price of delisted stocks to increase the collateral they get per share. Example, Blockbuster up 1,800%. Excuse me. How was the corn dog, says London? Well, a corn dog's a corn dog. You got a questionable piece of meat between some bread. It's good. It's on a stick. I just can't bite on the stick because I got porcelain veneers. I got fake teeth. So if I bite on that, I could break my veneer, and then I'd have to pay like $500-$600. Well, actually, because of inflation, they're probably about $800-$900 a tooth now. That's just not worth it. I'd rather throw that money at penny stocks. Golden Sheriff, what's your previous experience in finance? None at all. You know, my background is well, actually, it's technology. You know, I do technology. Public relations was my major, which I don't really do anything with public relations now. I mean, that was just kind of to be honest with you, you know, growing up and doing the computer stuff, building computers, upgrading computers, running a small computer repair business, you know, ultimately dissolving that company after the big box retailers started selling computers and providing computer repair services. It was kind of hard to compete, but it was a very lucrative business model in the beginning. So, you know, in the whole thing with, I never became involved with finance, but I did the public relations thing because I'm like, you know, it's like, dude, I'm a computer dork. You know, I know this stuff, you know, and I knew the computer stuff. So I knew which technology stocks to buy, but I wasn't passionate about finance. You know, I wanted the money. That's all I wanted. And I felt confident that, okay, well, you know, if I do something and I challenge myself in a different arena, which was public relations, I mean, you know, most of the time a computer guy is kind of shy and kind of nerdy, this, that, and the other. But, you know, it was an area that it was a focus that would add value in any realm. You know, so since then, I've migrated from, you know, from solely technology. I've transitioned from that, and I do a lot with social media. You know, social media is a big thing now. I look at social media as kind of it's not as big as the tech boom was in 2000, but social media is the next big thing. You know, it's device agnostic. It doesn't care which device you're using. Just like right now, we're on social media on YouTube. And, you know, it's my goal to better understand social media, provide consulting services, and leverage the social media tools to ultimately create. I'm not the type guy that wants to become, you know, flashy, wealthy, and multi-billionaire and this, that, and the other. But I do want to get to the point to where I've got so much that I don't have to worry. So in other words, you know, my quest for becoming ultra wealthy is financial freedom. And not having to worry about making money. You know, just having so much money that there's no need to have to worry about making any more. So, you know, that's what's always driven me to pursue these things. And, you know, these things being penny stocks. And it's been, it hasn't gotten me to where I want to be, but it's gotten me a lot closer to where I need to be. Sissy Fuss says, read some of the DD, the due diligence, before deciding not to invest. Gravik says, buy one stock, just one. Consider a $200 lotto ticket. Consider the money lost. You could get surprised with millions in profit. And Hoagie48 says, he good. Golden Sheriff says, exactly how much does a margin call work? Exactly how does a margin call work? Gravik says, yes, he did. Sissy Fuss says, they say, hey, exposure is X and you need Y amount of collateral, and you only have Z amount of posted. If you don't post Y to Z amount of collateral, we'll sell Y to Z worth of your positions. Cape says NASDAQ had to upgrade their systems because Berkshire Hathaway stock price was nearing the maximum value of 32-bit integer. Interesting. London says, what do you think of the DD? I'm going to talk about that in just a second. And Cave says, that's what I'm worried about. And then, well, here's what I thought. Let me have a sip of this, and I may get a refill before I completely tell y'all. So, reading the due diligence that was on Reddit, and there's some stuff out there on other sources as well. And again, I don't claim to be an expert. To preface this, as with everything within this video, it's for entertainment purposes only. It should not be considered a recommendation to buy or sell security. So it's, excuse me, that was rude. Talman says, howdy from sunny Riverside. Riverside, there you go. Sorry, I'm running late. Riverside, Alabama, sorry, running late. Hope those corn dogs were delicious. They were. Corn dogs always kind of get your stomach kind of. It's not a filet mignon. It's not, but, sometimes you just crave something. You crave, today, I wanted corn dogs, and I wanted rum and Coke. And I accomplished both. And it's, one of those things that you just feel good about. So, the DD, the due diligence. These are my thoughts. And again, this is based upon me. Again, I've been trading stocks since before. And again, I don't talk about specific tickers, but to give you an idea of how long I've been trading, the first stock that I ever bought, and this was back before online brokers, was Netscape Communications, NSCP. So that was before the internet brokers, and I felt like I could mention that because that's a stock of the past, no longer even relevant. But that to give you an idea of how long I've been doing this. When you're dealing with the big board stocks, they behave differently. They're usually they're a little bit more polished. The management, their press releases, their financials, they're usually more transparent. You're dealing with the over-the-counter bulletin boards, especially the lower tiers like the pink sheets. They can be somewhat dark and scary. Ooh, scary. So what I get from all of this with the all of the alleged association between this ticker symbol that y'all are talking about and in the Cellar-Boxing, I'm kind of on the fence. The consensus that I've gathered is that there seems to be, and again, these are all assumptions, there seems to be a large camp of people that feel that they're probably heading towards Cellar-Boxing it. So, I can say that, that's a possibility. But, yeah, you're right. That was around 1996. Netscape Communications, yes. Yes, that was a big runner. And for me to, have mown those yards and weed-eated those yards and just put in a few $100s of my lawn money, going out there sweating, mowing grass, it felt good, to see that turn into something. I think I bought my first BMW with some of that. That felt good. But yeah, so we're gonna circle back to this just a second here. The blurb derailed. The only thing I'm here for. It says, Corky says, quick questions. Why do some OTC stocks show extremely high stock prices years ago? For example, the ticker INKW showed a price of $6,100 per share in 2008. Keep in mind, a lot of those stocks reverse split. So, reverse split, for example, and then this is a silly example, but let's say you had 1 million shares and they did a 2-for-1 reverse or a 1-for-2 reverse split. You'd have 500. You'd have 500,000 shares instead of 1 million shares. So, the splits and what I would encourage you to do, look at the charts, and actually a lot of charts from a lot of brokers you can put in there an identifier to see when the historical splits occurred and the quantity of each split. So, yeah, it's don't be fooled that, if you see a penny stock and it's and it's currently today, hypothetically, 0006, but you look back at the chart for 20 years and you see that it was $1,200, don't let that kind of stuff fool you. It's you want to look at that reverse split history. And typically, speaking of dilution and stuff, one of the common trends for the pink sheets is that, they'll run that stock down to, they say wash, rinse, and repeat they'll drive that stock down to close to 0001, then they'll reverse split it, boom. Then the perceived price per share is in the pennies. Then they drive it down again, boom. Wash, rinse, repeat. So it's, let's see. Gravik says, can tell he's been doing penny stocks so long that he sees 6 million is $6,000. He seems genuine, says Alexander. Remix, guys, don't be judgy here. We're attending his opinion and any additional info he may have. London says, you still trade? Yeah, I do. I trade penny stocks quite frequently. I mean, not aggressively. I'm more of the, and again, penny stock and buy and hold. That's a nasty verbal mix there. You never want to say buy and hold penny stock. But in the case of penny stocks nowadays, I like the ones that are, I like to go after the custodial plays. That's kind of my thing. And some of those are kind of a patiently wait around. Again, expect to lose it all. But, they do require a somewhat buy and hold type component, which is rare for a penny stock. Gravik says, Jake says, nice dressing choice tonight. Thank you. Are Maya, McKenna, and Katie in the audience? Gravik says, just having fun, Remix. He's definitely himself, and I appreciate that. Yeah, just having a good time, man. Again, always hoping, if anybody chooses a super chat, that's always appreciated. Helps to throw a drink my way, London says, do you try to post your plays? No, I'm not a sharer. I mean, my share is generic knowledge for entertainment purposes only. I'm fascinated with, what I've seen in the past, what I expect to see in the future, and sharing that sort of stuff because it can potentially provide clues. I mean, it's something that, might be applicable for most any ticker symbol. But what's interesting, especially with the OTC markets recently, is with requiring a lot of, you gotta be pink current now. So, again, that put a lot of custodial plays in motion throughout the past few months. Jake says, not tonight, I'm on call for the whole week. Oh, man. Alexander says, what are Cellar-Boxed stocks? Have those always been? They've at least been a thing since 2011, and I started trading penny stocks. Well, I started trading stocks, the big boards, with Netscape Communications. So I've been trading stocks long before that. I didn't discover the Cellar-Boxed stocks and probably until late 2000s. I mean, between 2000 and 2011, probably about 2005 or so is when I discovered them. Keyball Hennings, how corrupt would you say the whole market is? Oh, it's super corrupt, without a doubt. And I mean, even more so with the over-the-counter markets, just because over-the-counter typically doesn't have to be as transparent as the big boards. So, they can be a lot more corrupt because they're not as transparent as the big boards, typically. And Sissy Fuss says, the goal of the victim company now becomes to avoid the three main goals of the naked short sellers, namely bankruptcy or reverse split. Sissy Fuss says, or the forced signing of a death spiral convertible debenture out of desperation. And Talman says, that was around the time that a first digital camera came out, had Kodak that did 420 DPI, was pleased at the time. Never did stocks become my life, your wife, never did stocks, my wife wouldn't let me, my mistake. Oh, man, you should have said, hey, you got to do that. London says, so then do you think that what apes think of GME is too heavily based in conspiracy? And Jake says, that's very true. Back to my due diligence and my analysis of everything. And again, I'm not an expert, for entertainment purposes only. What I found is that people are really grasping, wow, y'all have a huge 600,000 or so strong. That is a huge network of people. I had no idea that existed. Again, I'm a penny stock trader, so, I hang out on Investors Hub, iHub. So, this to me was brand new, eye-opening. I didn't know your community existed. And it's a huge community. It's a huge community that y'all have. And I think, not to talk about super stonk. Sorry, I got something itching right there on my nose. I don't want to sound like I'm accusing anybody of anything, but I think people just want to feel like they know, and they can say, okay, I told you, showed you, here's why I was right. I think people want to create that electronic paper trail leading up to whether it's the real outcome or whether it's a fabricated outcome, who knows? But whatever the outcome in the public eyes may be, I think people by nature want to feel that they were somehow connected to something big. And, for that reason, I think that people would want to think that they found something that's kind of niche. Because if you search for Cellar-Boxed or Cellar-Boxing on Google, you're going to find very limited amount of hits. I think the theory that it's tied to the stock y'all are talking about, I don't know. Again, I have not followed that stock, so I don't even want to even make a loose assumption for entertainment purposes. I don't. I mean, but looking at it in generalities, I would think that, let's take ticker symbol whatever out of this. Let's not think about a specific ticker symbol, because I know now the ticker symbol that y'all are fascinated with, which is fine. But let's just look at ticker symbols in general. I would challenge everyone to look at the big boards, Amex, NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, and try to find those stocks that historically had been delisted and then became Cellar-Boxed. I guess what I'm trying to say politely here is that I think there's a lot of people that want this to be true, that want this to be the outcome, but I think that a lot of people may be chasing a unicorn here. And I may be wrong. Again, I have not followed this stock, so I don't, my insight is probably of minimal value. But looking at the overall markets, I think you're probably going to find that if you find some stocks that were Cellar-Boxed, that were big board stocks, I'd like to know what they were, just for fun. I would really like to know that. How much does a house on that island cost? On St. Bart's, French, expensive. Yeah, they're expensive, man. London says, does iHub, Investors Hub, talk about OTC stocks? That's pretty much all they talk about. I mean, they talk about some ETFs. They talk about some big board stocks. It's not just OTC, but it's one of the places where a lot of people go for, to find the OTC, over-the-counter bulletin board pump and dumps. Because most any OTC is going to be a pump and dump. There's no way around it. Sissy Fuss says, how did you learn about Cellar-Boxing? Very simple. In the early days of trading over-the-counter bulletin board stocks, and again, I traded stocks since NASDAQ and the big boards. Since Netscape and the big boards. But, that just wasn't volatile enough for me. So I had to get something more exciting, and that's when I became involved with the penny stocks, the over-the-counter markets, over-the-counter bulletin board, whatever you want to call them, micro caps, whatever you want to call them. And as a product of that, I was getting these stocks that I was buying and holding. And, penny stocks are not a buy and hold strategy for the most part. There's exceptions. Like I said, with the custodial plays, some of those can be kind of a hold type situation. But that's how I learned about Cellar-Boxing, was because I had several stocks that were Cellar-Boxed. I won't mention the individual ticker symbols for those over-the-counter bulletin board stocks, but they just couldn't get out of the cellar. They tried. One of them would sit at 0001 on the ask for many months, and then all of a sudden there was a surge of interest or perceived interest. And, there may have been a few 100 million shares traded that day, but it never got the bid back. The ask never upticked to 0002. The bid never appeared at 0001. So that's how I found things that were seller boxed. And it was, basically you've thrown money at something. You thought you were getting in cheap, but you've just thrown money at something that's trapped in the cellar. It tries to climb up those grimy walls. Like we said, that rat earlier in the sewer. Trying to climb up those walls with all that stuff on them, it's in the sewer, that kind of stuff. And it just can't get out because it's too slippery and too just sleazy, and it just can't get out. It's cellar boxed. And that's how I found out about it. And Sissy Fuss says, like, what was the context of cellar boxing in your case when you're investing? That was it. I mean, I had a handful of 0001s. I'd put a few $100 US into each, a few million shares of each, got them at 0001. I'm like, man, if this ever moves, I'm going to be a multimillionaire, that kind of mentality. A lot of them never. Now, I did have some that moved. And I did have one that actually became a custodial play. And that one really moved. That was a nice one. But, yeah, that's how I found out about the Cellar Box. Gravik says, the stock dropped as low as 365 in 2020. You think it's possible that was an attempt to Cellar Box? Anything's a possibility. The company had over 200% short interest back then, too. Now, keep in mind, I think there's a listing requirement for the different, exchanges. I think NASDAQ, for example, isn't it $1 a share? Is that the listing requirement? I haven't checked it recently. London says, looking at the market, do you think a crash is coming? Oh, without a doubt. No doubt. Yep. I think we're in for a rapid and just brutal correction. I think this world's in a world of, I know the world's in a world of hurt, and I think we're about to see the stock market react in a very hostile way. I really do. Talman says, a little off topic, but just curious, what area do you live in? Where do you reside? I'm all over the place, man. I don't like to be anywhere. I'm in Georgia a lot of the time, but I don't like to be stuck in one place. I like to get around. And that's the other thing with this COVID stuff. It makes getting around a little bit more complicated. Cabe says, too bad the SEC is complicit in naked short selling, cellar boxing. Accumulating and holding seems to be the only way to flush shorts out of their positions. Yeah, and see, a lot of people here's the thing, a lot of people will get in on these talking about penny stocks, they'll get in on the 000s, and then they start to, increase in price per share, if they're lucky, if they're lucky. But then the people that are in at 0001, when and if that ticker hits 0003 on the ask, the bid often follows, which is often 0002. So theoretically, someone that was in at 0001, let's say they had, $100, if it hits 0002 and they're able to exit, minus commissions and taxes and all of that, they then turned $100 into $200. So they doubled their initial investment. And that helps with the with the cellar boxing because those people that are in at 0001, some of them just want a quick flip. They want a quick 100% if they get lucky. And now if it continues to go up, then what often happens, people start to chase the stock. So if it does surpass that 0003 on the ask, people start to chase the stock. Like, man, this is going to run to the moon. There must, and that's when you see all the storytelling. It's like, oh, well, this company intends to, this company plans to, all those forward-looking statements. You see all the fluff cheerleaders in the penny stock forums trying to pump it up because they want that run to continue, the price per share up. And then you got the people on the other side of the fence, the shorters. You're like, oh, man, this stock ran from 0001 to 0009. It's time to send this in the other direction. And they've got their own agenda. So they do whatever they can. They dig up whatever perceived news that they can. They fabricate whatever stories that they can to try to drive that price per share down. Because, a shorter is doing well when the price per share decreases. So it's a really fascinating thing. But, yeah, to the cellar boxing thing, it's, typically if cellar box stock, it may have that lucky week or whatever, and it may get lucky and run from 0001 to 0003. But inevitably, there's going to be enough people holding those 0001 positions that want to get out at 0002 if they get lucky. And you're probably not going to see people buying it at 0003 because they realize it's just another pump and dump. So, most of your penny stocks are just pump and dumps. Free corn dogs. Do you think it is more likely that a SHF released a statement saying they closed their short position and took a huge loss, or they lied and doubled down their position? Who knows? I don't even want to speculate there. Number 7 pencil says, what does custodial play mean? So a custodial play, and this is pertaining to penny stocks, over-the-counter bulletin board. Custodian is someone that comes in and cleans up a shell. So, let's say hypothetically there's a stock. It was an active business, but for whatever reason the CEO got arrested. He was in jail, and the shell still exists, but there's no active business through it. All of their mining equipment or whatever was repoed, and all they've got is this little shell. So it's of no value. Or is it? Actually, it can be. So what'll happen often, someone by the name of a custodian, someone referred to as a custodian rather, will come in and clean up that shell, meaning that they'll work to get all the filings in order. They'll work to get that, in this case, a pink sheet. They'll work to get that pink current status. Whatever they can to make that shell become a potential reverse merger candidate. So, think of reverse merger as a poor man's way to go IPO. Think of reverse merger as a poor man's initial public offering, meaning that if a privately held company is going to go public the traditional way, they're going to incur a lot of expenses, to go through something like NASDAQ or, one of the big boards. Whereas if they reverse merge, they can potentially get in really inexpensively, and they're probably, again, not certain, but probably not subjected to all of the regulatory requirements that they would be if they listed on the big board. So potentially they can save money. They can still have their company publicly traded, but they go public by way of a reverse merger versus a traditional route. So that custodian that you were asking about, what a custodial play is, that's exactly what a custodial play is. Custodian comes in with the perceived intent of cleaning up that shell, with the perceived intent of finding a reverse merger candidate. So yeah, that's my understanding of it, at least. Mary Mercury, good question, London. So many signs that a market correction is coming. Oh yeah, there's tons. I mean, this world's in a world of hurt. A little off topic, but are OTC stocks safe in the case of a market crash? Nothing is safe. And those are probably the least. Here's the way I look at OTC stocks, over-the-counter bulletin board. That's not even a good example. I'll circle back to that one. London says, with the life cycle of most penny stocks, do you think it's smarter to short them knowing that it will plummet eventually, since most OTCs are pump and dump? No way. I never short. I have never shorted a stock in my life. The reason is that I don't have the risk tolerance, because with shorting, one potentially has it's possible that someone could incur an infinite loss. I mean, that stock could go up very high. There's always a bottom. If you're buying stocks the traditional way, not using borrowed money, if you're not shorting a stock, then, if you bought it at $1 and it went to $0, well, boom, you've lost your initial investment, all of it. You've lost your commission when you bought it and your commission when you sold it. But with shorting, the loss potential is infinite, because if that runs from $1 to, we got a super chat. Number 7 pencil. Thanks for all the info. Thank you for the super chat. Oh yeah, that is deeply appreciated. And then I've got hologram. Captain, what happened to your hat? It's like the whole new guy from this morning. Yeah, I took a shower and I drank some rum and Coke. Hogran says, epic week ahead. I don't know. I don't even follow the stock. I really don't. London says, I think they were available on the OTC boards. Youngest, finest. Do you own GameStop shares? Nope, do not. It's never been an interest of mine. And the reason it hasn't is, and this was, back in the day, before your digital download of video games, this, that, and the other. Back in the day, the early days of video games, when you had Nintendo, you had Sega Genesis, the first generation consoles. I think those were good times because, you could go in, you could buy a game, you could trade a game in. You had the physical disc. You just trade it in or whatever. Or the physical cartridge at that time because it wasn't a disc. But, back at that time, I think it was great. And I felt that it was a good business model then. Nowadays, if you look at, say, for example, your current PlayStation 5, I've got the digital edition PlayStation 5, so it doesn't even have a disc drive. So there's not a physical disc. If I went to, to insert video game store, whatever, here, and tried to buy a game for my digital console, it's stupid because there's not a physical disc or game drive on that unit. It's all downloaded. So, the shift being from physical media, physical video game, to digitally downloaded content, I think it's a sinking ship. I wouldn't touch it. That's just my opinion. And then we've got T-Ball Hennings. Have you really heard of Ken Griffin of Citadel and Steve Cohen of Point72? If so, what's your opinion of? I haven't heard of either of them, so I don't have an opinion. Doom Duche, just got here. I missed anything interesting? Did he read that DD? Oh, I did read the DD, and it was exciting. Sissy Fuss says, back in the day, did Bain Capital or Knight Capital? Knight, oh, I'm familiar with them. NITE, the MP ID, market maker ID of these Cellar-Boxed stocks. Yeah, there are certain market makers, certain MPIDs, and again, back in the day when I would really heavily trade penny stocks, back in I'd say 2005 through 2013 or so, I was a really hardcore penny stock trader. Knight Capital, NITE, was one that I would often see in a lot of stocks. And often when I saw that, it didn't really give me the warm and fuzzies, and I didn't really have a reason why. But and again, I don't want to jump to assumptions, and I'm not saying they were seller boxing or anything like that by any means, but they were one that typically, if they showed up, that that I didn't really have high hopes for that stock. I didn't think it was going to be a runner. Let's put it that way. Doom, oof, Irish guy, LOL, and T-Ball Hennings. Yes, you can get that all from GameStop. They are e-commerce now. I guess, yeah, you can get. But why would I want to go through a third party to buy my games when I can just log into my PlayStation 5 and go to the PlayStation Store? I mean, unless there's like enhanced coupon codes and that sort of thing for the digital downloads that I might not be able to get buying directly from PlayStation. I mean, I don't know. What do I use to trade OTC stocks? Ameritrade. I used to use a combination of Ameritrade and Fidelity, but now pretty much do everything I need to on Ameritrade, and I've got level 2 on my mobile device with Ameritrade. Doom says, I can't blame you for having an uneducated opinion about GameStop right now, but I highly suggest you avoid making statements on the future of it without actually looking into the bull thesis. Hey, and I'm not saying it's not. Again, I don't follow it. I was speaking in generalities. Any business whose business model is selling video games, I'm personally, it's not, and again, not saying it couldn't potentially be good, but it's just something that's not in my wheelhouse right now, if that makes sense. Sissy Fuss says he's doing us a favor by answering his question. Oh, I didn't take offense at all to what Doom Duche says. Yeah, and Doom Duche says that was me relaxed. Hey, that's cool. I mean, I just, I speak my opinion, and that's that's how I feel. I'm not here to support one side of the fence or the other, whatever the sides of the fences may be. I'm just here to enjoy the live show and my rum and collect some super chats. That's exactly why I'm here. So, and then Young Finest, how much did the stock market change throughout the years in your stock career? It's changed a ton, man. Because back in the day, when I was mowing grass, pushing a lawnmower and going to the brick and mortar broker, the volatility was not as fast. I mean, you would trade a stock and then you would turn on your TV. You couldn't even, you had to wait for the news to come on and go to a certain time and check the little ticker at the bottom of the screen. So, it's not like you could just go back to your brick and mortar broker second by second and trade. So the trades are very delayed. It was more in the day, it was more of a buy and hold type strategy with the big board stocks. Nowadays, it's second by second. And especially when you're dealing with, with an online broker, if you're utilizing limit orders, which you should be, utilizing limit orders to buy and sell. I mean, those things, it's pretty much hands off. And, your serious traders, they've got multiple limit orders throughout the day. They got stop limit orders. They've got all types of orders queued up for various ticker symbols that they have. So it's a lot more automated. So the thing is, it's not that people, in the past, it was more delayed, and now it's more of people just have it queued up, and when a certain price per share hits, there's all these orders in line until the market maker runs out of blocks at that price. So it's different. It is really different. London says honesty is good to get. Honestly, it's good to get a neutral opinion weighing in. Jeremy says, hi, RX guy. You're looking good, my man. You're looking like real congressman or big official sitting there with your mic and looking all dapper. Appreciate it. That was I came in earlier and I just rolled out of bed and had on my workout clothes, and I figured I'd take a shower and get ready. I appreciate that. Gravik says, PlayStation Store doesn't even give you direct ownership of the digital asset. If GameStop makes a blockchain game trading network, that means digital becomes reusable and resellable. Blockchain is another animal. When I think of blockchain, I don't just think of the Bitcoin, the cryptocurrencies. Blockchain is one of those things that we all have our opinions about it going forward. And my opinion may not match everyone else's opinion, but when I think of blockchain, whatever the technology pinned to it may be, I think of blockchain, I think of easy manipulation. And for me, as a speculative investor in penny stocks and that sort of stuff, even as a speculative investor for penny stocks, to me, anything that's blockchain linked, to me, is even greater risk. And to say, in my mind, that something even seems to be greater risk than a penny stock, that's how afraid of the blockchain I am. I'm not saying it's not a good thing, because I think that decentralization is a great thing. I think that now we have too much, in too many areas of our lives, we have too much government intervention, too much government oversight. So I think the decentralized nature of blockchain on paper is good. But I think that the decentralized nature of blockchain, also creates an even riskier investment adventure, or trading adventure, I should say. And then we've got Miyako Kaneo. Make as many statements as you want about the authentic viewers will value your honesty with us on where you are with the market. Hologram says, hello, fellow apes. He says, download Active Trader Pro from Fidelity and you can trade buy direct to the New York Stock Exchange. No need for anything. Oh, that's very cool. So does it still utilize the market makers, or is it going straight to NYSE? Yeah, London, I use Ameritrade for my penny stocks, for my OTC market stocks. Hologram says, we like the captain with the didgeridoo. I'd crank up the didgeridoo, but it's It's past didgeridoo time. It's too late. I only do that during the broad day. London says, what do you think about crypto? I wouldn't touch it. I mean, numerically speaking, it was really cool to watch the run up and, knowing some people that had gotten in below $100 a coin to see that sucker run up past, was it $50,000 or whatever, a Bitcoin? That was pretty impressive. But, even though it was impressive, a lot of those people that do that, they have the mentality, and it may be correct. I don't want to say that it is an incorrect assumption, but a lot of those people have the mentality that, it's going to be the currency of the future. So they can never let go of it. They become emotionally attached to those digital assets that they have. And a lot of them have become so emotionally attached to it that they would never let go. I mean, if I ever had a stock that ran from below $100 a share up to above $50,000 a share, well, number one, I probably would have exited well before then, at least a substantial amount of the position. But there's a lot of people that rode it up there and then even ride it back down because they're so emotionally attached to it. And, as traders, as traditional stock traders, at least most of us probably feel that, emotional attachment is a problem. When you're trading, one should never become emotionally attached to a security, because when and if that happens, that's often when, poor investment decisions are made because of that emotional attachment. Crypto, the entry, the exit, too much stuff, the digital wallets that you've got to deal with to virtually hold your asset. It's just, it scares me. I don't have a high degree of confidence that I could exit those positions if I wanted to. Exit being convert the crypto into traditional currency. Any opinion of Michael Burry? I don't even know Michael Burry, so yeah, I don't have an opinion. Hologram says, straight to nice, New York Stock Exchange, no market makers. Oh, that is pretty cool. Now, that's going to work for your big boards. They don't have, to my knowledge, they don't have a penny stock over-the-counter markets tool like that, because that'd be really cool. Young Finest, what got you interested in stocks and how'd you get started? Well, like I said, I just wanted to get a bunch of money and not be broke. So, I was mowing grass, and I'm like, I'm going to turn this, these few $100s I had in lawn money into something substantial. And, I got, like I said, that's when I started with the stock market. My first stock I ever bought was Netscape Communications, NSCP. And I'll say that ticker symbol because it's no longer relevant. But, that was through a brick and mortar broker, and that's what got me going. And, it's what I crave is financial freedom. I don't care about being a multi-millionaire just for the fact of saying that I am. I just want it so I can so I just don't have to worry about, where the next grocery bill or, where the next car payment or whatever's coming from. I just want to have so much that, it doesn't matter. And that's what drives me. And stocks are a great investment vehicle. I mean, it's, if you get lucky, you can really do well. Cabe says, cryptocurrencies were supposed to be alternate to fiat currencies, but at the moment they are pump and dumps by big whales to launder money. And that's why you're seeing a lot of in the beginning of the cryptos, there weren't a lot of regulatory bodies involved. And now you're starting to see, those transactions are being closely monitored. And again, to your point, that is interesting you say that. Because, yeah, I mean, it probably was a convenient place for things to disappear, for fiat currencies to disappear. Sissy Fuss says, is there anything you can tell us about Knight Capital, or are there any other firms that you remember being big in that? The only reason I remember Knight, I just remember the MPID, NITE, in a lot of the pump and dump penny stocks that I played. Not saying there's anything wrong with Knight. I don't know anybody that works at Knight. I'm not familiar with the Knight Capital, but I just remember seeing them with associated with a lot of stocks that at least for me didn't do well. And that could be purely coincidental. I mean, who knows? Gravox says, I used to be a huge crypto advocate until investing in GameStop showed me how manipulated crypto is by big institutions. Yeah, crypto is crazy heavily manipulated. And I'm not saying that people still don't make money from crypto, because I know a lot of people that do, but it is heavily manipulated. And then T-Ball Hennings, how bullish would you be to see a stock go from mid-cap 400 to small-cap 600, and and look likely to join the S&P 500. I don't know. I'm not sure if this guy is clued into anything at all except for a few penny stocks. Jeremy, that's a fair assumption. And that's again, that's my thing. I do over the counter stocks, over the counter bulletin board stocks. I haven't touched big boards in a long time. Harold VidTube. So I tuned in to hear about your expertise in securities. Do you have specific experience with not to find out what you think about subjects you're admitting you don't follow closely? That's fair. Hologram says, hey, gang, what do you think? Will a broader market crash trigger the squeeze pop? And then Harold VidTube, can we talk about manipulative tactics to bring down the price of a sale? Oh, yes, we can. Yeah, hey, man, that is a Harold VidTube, that is a great question. Manipulative tactics. Yeah. On that note, let me refill my rum and Coke, and I'll be right back, okay? Oh, man, Harold, I love that question. Okay. So I love this question. And this was Harold VidTube. Can we talk about manipulative tactics to bring down the price of a security? Okay. So, and again, my comments are going to be in regards to the OTC, and this is just what I've seen throughout the many years of OTC exploration. So, the OTC markets, one of the things that, again, excites me the most about them is that most everything's a pump and dump. So there are tactics that are employed to attempt to drive the price per share up. There are also tactics that are employed to attempt to drag the price per share down. And to your question, those manipulative tactics are the, hold on one second. Chungo says, side question, flats or wings, blue cheese or ranch? Ooh, flats and ranch. And what I like to do with my wings, check out my video on my channel. I like to smoke, I like to pre-bake, and then I like to smoke over hickory, and then I like to finish them up in the air fryer. But I marinate them before I do any of that. So you're talking about just a really juicy, flavorful, you get the smokiness, but you also get the crispiness of being fried, but you don't get the grease of traditional frying. So check out that video. So we're going to get to these side questions in a minute. Because I got another one. Oh, wait. Let me go ahead and get this out. London says, another side question. What's the perfect burger for you? Okay. Premium beef. Doesn't have to be Kobe or Wagyu. Premium beef. I like to have some bacon in with it. I like steak, ground steak instead of ground chuck or ground beef. I will add some cheese when it's, when it's pattied. I marinate it in the fridge, tightly covered overnight. I like fresh garlic that I, flake off myself from a garlic clove. A lot of salt, a little bit of sea salt, black pepper, ground, not that stuff in a little can. That doesn't have any flavor to it. And then cook them over hickory. And melt the cheese and toast the buns. But don't just toast the buns. Put some butter on those buns while they're on the side of your grill alongside the burger so that it gets good and buttery and also toasted with that hickory taste. So, yeah, so Harold VidTube, manipulative technique. So just like, and again, talking about penny stocks, a lot of the penny stocks, not to overgeneralize, but most all of the penny stocks are pump and dumps. So, they got there because of either some perceived news, often forward-looking statements, letter of intent. Maybe there was a formal letter of intent. The company intends to da-di-da-di-da. Or maybe there was nothing formal released by the company. But maybe a group of traders got together and said, oh, they explored links and they found, well, this company had, this company attended X trade show. And this company also, had a collaboration with X company that makes this. Therefore, since this trade show sold this product and the company they collaborated with sells this product, it's our assumption that they're probably about to release whatever product. Again, forward-looking statement and also an assumption. So they employ whatever tactics they can to attempt to bring the stock price up. Those are called your penny stock cheerleaders. They've got a mission to bring it up. They want to make money with that stock going up. Now, talking about the manipulation that drives the stock price down, that's often heavily controlled by the people that have strong short positions. So they're gonna profit if that price per share decreases. So it's there's a lot of tactics that they often employ. I mean, stuff that I've seen. Not seen personally, but, witnessed in the forums based upon reading forum posts, is that, they'll be like, oh, well, they'll try to find stuff that fell through. So they'll dig back and they'll find forward-looking statements from the company or just forum posts that, whatever intends to happen on whatever date, find stuff that never materialized. They'll put it in the spotlight being like, well, they didn't meet their promise on this date, and that date. What leads one to believe that they'll do anything profitable going forward? That's one form of I don't know if it's really classified as manipulation, but it's just bringing into the spotlight the perceived failures of that ticker. So, and the other thing that people can do is is they can attack the share structure. They can go in and say, oh, well, this this company's never going to make it because they've got, they've got X billion authorized shares. This ticker's diluted as everything. And, you see so-and-so, the CEO, well, look at what he did with this company on this, this date. He just drove them into the ground to reverse split. They'll try to dig up any sort of perceived association with something less than positive and just try to paint the vibe of negativity, surrounding that ticker. So many things that people will do. And again, not necessarily manipulation, but it's just, they have the agenda of wanting to see that price per share decrease. Anything they can do to do that. And Harold VidTube, we have become familiar with naked shorting, ETF, shorting, and married puts. But if you are aware of other tactics, specifically ones that hide short interest, we are all ears. How would you hide a short interest? Well, obviously in the case of, and again, this is a penny stock thing, but you may try to find some way to make it applicable for others. If you want to hide short interest, if your TA, if your transfer agent is gagged, there's not a lot of publicly available information at that point. London says, you know what? You're all right, man. Hey, I appreciate that. You're great too. All y'all are great. Tuning in. This has been a good day for my channel. Sissy Fuss says, can we please talk about stocks? And Hoagie says, chill, man. Look at his video history. His YouTube channel isn't all stocks. It's not all stocks. It's got a big travel component. But because of all this virus stuff, man, my travel's been kind of whacked out. London says, Sissy Fuss, unless you're going to super chat him. Hey, again, super chats are not required, but, they're definitely appreciated. And I certainly enjoyed those corn dogs earlier. That was outstanding. Nobody understands he was making PS4 upgrades videos and playing Call of Duty before this. I don't know about anyone else, but I also love all those things. London says, yeah, man, he's chill. It's Sunday, and this ain't his job. He's just being a bro, and they're showing his thanks for the video getting spread. No doubt. That's what it's all about. I'm here for exposure. I'm here for the super chats. Super chat. The corn dogs, thanks for talking about GME, and that's why we're here. But tell me, what's better, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops 2? I like both. The new Black Ops, the Cold War, it's good because obviously if you got the PS5, the graphics are better. But, I like both. I'm not a big gamer because gaming is it's a way to relax, and it's a way to potentially improve one's hand-eye coordination. But it's not, I like it now because I can live stream, and being able to live stream games, I'm able to bring the community together, and collect some super chats while I play. I don't play a lot. I play it to relax and sleep better. That's why I do it. But, I would say I wouldn't say one of those is better. I will say the Black Ops Call of Duty is better. Just the Black Ops Call of Duty Cold War, just because the graphics are current for the PS5. If you care about the graphics, they are better. Gravox says, do we get to witness you eat a corn dog on this stream? Not now, man, because I'm already drinking the rum. But, I just, when I have an after dinner drink or two, I don't eat anymore. But I'll have to do a future stream, and we'll have to do a stream and have a corn dog eating fest. I think that would be a great subject. And obviously we could talk about penny stocks and stuff too. It doesn't just have to be talking about corn dogs. But yeah, it was. Oliver says, do you buy your games from GameStop? Back in the day when I played games, I would, I would often buy them from a brick and mortar place. There was GameStop, and then there's EB Games, and there was, I'm trying to think where else. There was another one. Oh, what's the name of that? It's no longer. It was EB Games. It was GameStop. Was it Egghead or was it? It was something. It was another store where they sold games. But now I don't buy them from anywhere. I mean, admittedly, I don't play a lot of games. I got a PlayStation 5. I bought the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War from PlayStation Network, and it was on sale during the Labor Day weekend. And then I bought the golf game, the PGA Tour 2K21, because it was on sale on the Labor Day weekend. Bought it from PlayStation Network. And those are the only 2 games I bought. So, I mean, I'm not a big gamer. I mean, I've got those too. I've got other, fish in the sea, and other than just playing games. I mean, games have their place. So London says, so would you say a good way to hide short interest is to trade or route trades through dart pools? Now, I'm not going to say anything that would even potentially be misconstrued as trying to hide any sort of investment. I mean, that's just an area I won't go down. Everything I was talking about was just, in the forums, the type of perceived manipulative techniques that I've witnessed. It's not something that I do. I'm just there to try to make a buck or two if a stock goes in my favor. I mean, that's my thing. Because ultimately, most every penny stock is going to be a pump and dump. And that's one of the biggest differentiators between the over-the-counter markets, the penny stocks, and the traditional big boards, New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, and American Stock Exchange. So, yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's something I wouldn't comment about. Because, I mean, this is a live show, and it's not something I do anyway, so. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, back to what y'all were talking about, all these forum posts on Reddit. I could be wrong, but I think my perception, again, is that there's a large camp of people, at least on the forum, that want this Cellar-Boxed thing to play out. They want it to be they seem to want it to be the what's going to go down. And I mean, I could be grossly wrong. Again, I don't follow the stock y'all are talking about, and I feel that it would probably be rare if something like that happened for a big board stock. But Cave, do you think precious metals are a good hedge against upcoming market crash? Honestly, and again, none of this is investment advice, but I think that I personally like precious metals because they're tangible assets. There's not an internet connection required to retrieve them. There is, they're tangible physical asset. And, one thing that I always do, I like the fractional because I think that the fractional bullion or the fractional coins, silver, gold, I think that's probably the best because fractional, you don't have to have any sort of tools to break it down. In a total economic collapse, when and if it results to bartering and all of that, you don't want to have to say, okay, well, I've got a 1 ounce, 1 troy ounce gold bullion bar, but I realize what I'm trying to get from you is only, 1/10 of an ounce. It's not like you want to have to break that tool out and physically cut into your gold bullion bar to have enough to barter with. So, I definitely think the fractional is best. I think that, the fractional, there probably is a greater premium for the fractional bullion and the fractional rounds and the coins. But, that's the thing that only the investor can decide. Is that premium worth the potential convenience going forward if a complete economic collapse occurs? That's something that only the investor can. And London says nothing is safe in the case of market. It's really not. I mean, everything goes belly up, and I mean, we're in such turbulent times now, not just because of the virus situation that reared its head a year or so ago, but Tim Sykes. Hey man, look at my Lambo, dude. Look at my Lambo. Wee, I ain't Tim Sykes. Look at my Lambo. Look at my trips. You want to come? You want to come trade with me on the island of Italy? And yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah. So Get Real says, why do you not say tickers? I just don't. Here's the thing. My stock, not my stock, one of my penny stock videos, the Cellar-Boxed video, came to life today because of internet search and people talking about it. And it has never been my thing, not within any of my videos, to talk about specific ticker symbols. I do this for fun. It's a way to, to entertain my own brain and to share my potentially entertaining stories with others. But if I ever append any of those potentially entertaining stories to a specific ticker symbol, then it could potentially be misconstrued as something more. Is this individual trying to promote or talk negatively about whatever ticker symbol? That's not what I want. My thing is just, it's entertainment. It's wow. Maybe pick up something like, I never knew that. That's kind of cool. Maybe I'll go research that. That's why I never mention the individual ticker symbols. It's irrelevant for what I do. London says, oh, hell yeah. Got to hear your opinion of him. Well, this is my opinion of Tim. I will say he is an excellent, and I mean excellent, internet marketer. If you look back at his history online, I mean, he really, and I don't know if he's sourced it out. I don't know the guy. I don't know if he's sourced it out to marketing agencies or whatever, but he has really managed to gain a very strong footprint on social media. Actually, probably so much so that my assumption, and again, I don't know him and I don't see anything that he actually makes or not, but my assumption is that he is probably doing better from his social media marketing efforts than he probably ever will do from trading penny stocks. That's my assumption. Because when you look at what he's got the excellent marketing, he's got his paid classes, he's got all of this stuff. He's selling the dream, and often. Let's see. There's some more comments in here. Hoagie says, I think what you call cellar-boxing is essentially what everyone believes was the ultimate end goal for the people who shorted our symbol. And I am sure the tactics people used to cellar-box are the same tactics being used now on the big board. So, hey, if that's what a lot of people think the end goal is for this particular ticker symbol, hey, it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not trying to plant the seed to say that it might be. I'm not saying it's not. And then London says, you think Tim is a scammer? I know he was big in the OTC game back in the early 2000s, but now he seems like he's taking the luck he's had and running with it. Hey, all power to him. That's business. He's okay. I was thinking it may be considered manipulation. Thank you. And then London says he makes millions on the internet. Of course, he sells. Yeah, he does that. And I mean, the perception is, he's got this girlfriend or wife or whatever. It's like, I think, isn't she like 10 or 20 years younger than he is or something? And then he was good enough with his marketing. He was on a show on one of the big networks. I think it was that ship show, Below Deck. He was on that, and he was on the show, and just a really annoying personality on that show, in my opinion. Again, I don't know the guy. But again, I will applaud, and I don't know him, but I will applaud Tim Sykes because his internet marketing, I'm not sure, but I'm fairly confident that he is probably doing very well with his internet marketing. His penny stock trading, who knows? I mean, come on. I mean, who knows about that? But his internet marketing skills are top notch. Whether it's his or something that he's outsourced, who knows? But he's really sold the dream, and a lot of people that don't know anything about the stock market, when they see his videos, they think that he's the king. They think that he poops gold. I mean, it's just funny. That's marketing. Man, I got $10 of super chat so far. I can buy myself that's the thing, man. With this economy, I can't even buy myself lunch with that. Lunch nowadays, just a cheap lunch is going to run you about $12, $13. That is it's crazy. Super duper crazy how this economy is being wrecked. really is. It is a failing economy that we're all experiencing, unfortunately. Not to be a pessimist. Yeah, this is an interesting day. Let me see how many views that my original Cellar-Boxed video has now. Let's see. What does Cellar-Boxed mean? It's up to 12,259 views so far. Over 1,000 likes. That's pretty good. I want to see that thing really rocket. I'd really like it if one of the big financial news networks picked it up. That'd be awesome. Even better if they wanted me to be a guest on Skype or something and be on their live show. London says, there's evidence to suggest that they think Cellar-Boxing is where it is headed because a lot of stock analysts say the companies that apes think are being shorted are heading back down to $5 or zero. Speculation is a fascinating thing because, part of the thrill of speculation is just the rush. It's like, well, can that happen? Will that happen? Might that happen? It's just kind of not the fear of the unknown, but the anticipation of the unknown that really excites a lot of people about the stock market. And in my case, I've always looked at, when I look at stock markets, when I look at the big boards, I've always looked at I've looked at the big boards like a popular beer, just a light beer, your cheap, Natty Light or Keystone Ice or something like that. That's what I think about when I think of the big board stocks. And when I think of the penny stocks, I think of like a very premium vodka or a very premium tequila. You're taking shots and you're going out to the club and having a good time. It's just a more elevated experience. Whereas the traditional big boards, it's low and slow. Chill, man. Just take your time. No need to party. London says speculation is what got apes to buy into GME. And I'm going to ask a very possibly ignorant question, but I'm going to ask this anyway because I don't care. This is going to make me sound really bad. So, London, what are the apes? APES. What are the apes? Tell me the apes. Give me your apes elevator spiel. What are the apes? Chirp, chirp. Just waiting. Take your time. Just wait for your response. Here are the apes. Dumb retail. Group on Reddit. Apes, and this is a definition I found on Google. Apes, retail investors bullish on heavily shorted stocks. These are generally stocks that are heavily shorted, considered underdogs, and appear to be prime targets for short squeezes. Interesting. Okay. The polylibalist, the polysyllablist, apes together strong. We don't have to be smart to beat high IQ hedge funds with algorithms and PhDs. We just have to hold. Doom Duche. Irix. Best of luck with your channel. If you read any of the DD I sent you and want to chat, I'm available. We have literally created a library for public pursuit. That's awesome, man. Yeah, and I've read several huge chunks of it. There's tons of stuff on there, man. And then Doom Duche says, there will never be another play like this particular ticker symbol. This will be the pin that pops the balloon full of hot farts. That is the current stock market. It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. London says, it's what retail investors are calling themselves that are bullish on stocks that they think are being shorted and manipulated by short hedge funds. And, that's cool. That shows how kind of gray I am with the stock market in general, because I said, I had the focus upon over-the-counter bulletin board stocks, and I've kind of turned a blind eye to the big boards. I mean, the only thing I touch in the big boards right now pretty much is just REITs, real estate investment trust. And Cabe says, have you heard of big institutions like BlackRock buying up entire neighborhoods, outbidding retail house buyers by tens of thousands of dollars? I've heard it's really hard to buy a house now. It is. And I can't speak for specific institutions, but I have a very good friend of mine that's in the Florida area, not far from Cape Canaveral. And they were doing, not saying they, but at least some businesses were going through and just buying up houses. I mean, his house, I think he made well over 150%. He's like, that's a no-brainer, man. I'm just going to sell it. He sold it, because they were, like you were saying, they were just sweeping through and buying up real estate. London says, wouldn't you say the best way to combat short sellers is to hold? Again, not investment advice, for entertainment purposes only. There's several schools of thought for looking at that. One would be, well, if you wait and you think the price is going to increase, if you think the price is going to, if you wait thinking it's going to increase, what if it continues to go down? If you're not a short buyer, if it goes from, say, $10 down to $8, and it's like, well, I'm just going to wait because you feel confident it's going to go back up. Now it's at $7. Now it's at $6. Now it's at $5. Should I get out? No, I'm just going to wait. It goes down more, and it goes down more, and it goes down more. And you just don't really know, how far down can this go? Yeah. You don't. Hold on 1 second here. Yeah, so the best way to, I don't know. That's up to personal risk tolerance. I'm from the school of thought that I always think it's best to take a small loss than a huge loss. But then again, a gain's always better. But, the way I look at it, if I'm in something, hypothetically, if I take a small loss, it probably may not take me too long to recover with the next big winner, the big runner. But if I take a large loss, then I've got an even lesser amount of of dollars to pump into the next speculative investment. So that's just my opinion. London says, well, GameStop went from 5 to 300 and has built support at 180, and at 200 I'm asking because if they are betting on shorting all the way down to $5. I feel more comfortable betting they will run out of ammunition before they succeed. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Cabe says, the ultimate way to request physical share certificate, which I've heard is not available anymore for our ticker. That's a potential warning sign there. Yeah, that's kind of concerning, it would seem. But, yep. Let's see. See how many views my Cellar-Boxed video has now. Right now, it's got 12,380 views on the Cellar-Boxed video. 380 views. Wait, not 380. 12,380. I'm sorry. It was below 500 since like 2011. Wow. Let's see. What do we have here? Yeah, this has been a very interesting day. And when it comes to the stock market, this has been the stock market's not even open today. It's Sunday. So this has been a very interesting day. So I think what we should do, this is kind of a let's just call this a live stream soap opera of sorts. This drama, let's just let it kind of pan out, and let's get. London says it might be up more tomorrow. Not many apes come on Reddit during the weekend. Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, that's kind of the mentality. You work on Wall Street. Boom, the market close hits, 4:30 p.m. New York City time. You get out of there, you go to the bar, you sit down, drink you a single malt scotch, eat you some fried crab claws and a steak. Head on over to. I really like Delmonico's. I like that place, but I tell you, Spark Steakhouse so good. And if you want to get on the subway, head over to Brooklyn. Go over there to Peter Luger. Ooh. Good stuff. And that's the thing. I mean, most of your traders, most of your experienced traders, when the weekend rolls around, they just disconnect. And that's smart. I mean, you don't want to. But, a lot of wishful thinkers, people that want to become the next multimillionaire, a lot of them are doing it throughout the weekend. They're performing their due diligence. They're gearing themselves up for the next trading week. So, I don't know. We definitely need to regroup. And this has been interesting. I mean, I'm really like, wow. Didn't expect this today. So this is good. And what I want to do is thank everyone again for sharing, tuning into the live streams, liking my videos. Again, thanks for the super chats. That is deeply appreciated. And, let's link back up. Maybe I'll try to get a live stream tomorrow evening, and we'll kind of get together and touch base. How did things pan out for everyone? I'd like to hear the goods, the bads, all the latest soap opera drama. We'll just make this the soap opera of the stock market or something. I don't know. It's just kind of a, long-winded, and just kind of see where it goes, And London says, well, I subscribe, man, so just let us know when. Definitely, and I appreciate the subscription, London. Appreciate all your super chats and your feedback. And when I do schedule the next live show, what I'll do is just like this one. If you're subscribed and you ring that bell icon, you should get a notification. But the best way to see when it's coming is just go to youtube.com/IrixGuy and click the, click on the main page, and you'll see the link just like this with the thing. And I may even this one I had the thumbnail of the rat in the sewer, so I'm going to come up with some sort of other creative thumbnail and have for the next upcoming live show. Cabe, do you have any books worth reading? Not about stocks. Yeah, there was one. Let's see, what was the name of it? Let me find a link. Hold on. I gotta. Yep, there's a great book, and it's actually entitled Nasty People, How to Stop Being Hurt by Them Without Stooping to Their Level. And basically that book, Nasty People, is about the various personality types that one might encounter, within the day-to-day world. And it's just a really good read, all the different personality types. It can really help you to better categorize people. I mean, it's one that says in an IREX a boat, it's just it's just a cool word, man. Let me just throw it out there. Hold on. So I came up with this channel, and I didn't really plan to do anything with it. I was just going to use it to share like travel videos of people. I had no idea that YouTube was a business venture at that point in time, rather. And I had a video of a cruise ship, just some, just basic cruise ship going out to sea. I posted it. At that time, YouTube Partner Program was by invitation only. And because that video was well perceived, they invited me to become a partner. And ever since I became a YouTube partner, and curiously enough, this is actually one of the reasons that I not stepped away, but toned down my penny stock trading considerably, was because I found another way to generate, I've got a bunch of side hustles. I got a ton. But it was just another form of passive income. I could film videos, and I'm like, okay, well, if I film one video and I make this, if I film two, okay, well, maybe I make this. But in reality, I could do 10 videos, and of those 10, maybe only one or two are actually good hitters, heavy hitters. So I went for the volume thing, and I challenge myself every day. What are the topics that I can address that will hopefully attract a viewership, and help me to increase my subscribers. So, YouTube for me quickly became an obsession. It's fun. It's something that I can use to generate passive income. And, it can help me improve my video editing skills. It can help me improve my videography skills, my photography skills, my audio skills, my face-to-face interaction skills, whatever it may be. So it's provided a lot of value. And in the IREX part, it's just gibberish, man. I'm like, okay, IREX guy, what's that? Some gibberish name. It wasn't something that was, that was tied to anything. It was just gibberish. And then I further expanded that, after the channel started to grow, and I expanded it to IREX Guy's Adventure Channel. Obviously an adventure can be pretty much anything. An adventure of knowledge, an adventure of travel, an adventure of, any sort of entertaining component. I mean, so it was just the all-encompassing brand. And that's what I created from the name IREX Guy. It was IREX Guy's Adventure Channel. And that's where I am today. So I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. But most importantly, I enjoy y'all. And I really appreciate the fact that everyone has shared the heck out of my videos. And tuning into these live shows, this is so important. And it's in the super chat, super important. It's just really nice. And I want to link y'all in on one of the big live shows I'll be doing, and I think it's going to be huge. And if you're a stock trader, you probably like it. It's called Timepieces for Tomorrow. And basically, what that live stream is a live stream that pertains to wristwatches. So wristwatches, they can be a very addictive hobby, and that's something that Timepieces for Tomorrow, which will be on my channel, is something that you may want to tune into as well. And I also, based upon this, I want to start getting some penny stock centric live streams up as well, because I think this is I know it's a great, it's great subject matter. And I think it's a, yeah, I agree. Yeah, this is time to call it quits. So I appreciate everyone tuning in. Y'all be safe. And stay tuned to my channel for the next live stream. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. Ring that bell icon when you do. And again, thanks so much, and y'all have a good day.